SWIFT is an acronym for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. It may also be referred to as a BIC code, Bank Identifier Code. To receive an international wire transfer into your account, the sender will need U.S. Bank's SWIFT code, which is USB04MT. How do I find my SWIFT code? To locate your SWIFT BIC code, check any paper or digital banking statements, or look at your account details on your online banking profile. You can also search for your BIC code using a digital SWIFT BIC search tool by providing your country and bank location data. Is a SWIFT code the same as a routing number? SWIFT codes are used for international transactions. This involves transfers across different countries and continents. Routing numbers, on the other hand, are specific to the United States and are meant to facilitate domestic transactions within the country. What is SWIFT code in bank account? A SWIFT code is an international bank code that identifies particular banks worldwide. It's also known as a Bank Identifier Code, BIC. What is an example of a SWIFT code? SWIFT code format. An example of a SWIFT code is ADLA BBCC123. Here are the components of a SWIFT code. Bank code, 4 letters representing the title of the bank, usually a shortened form of the bank's name. Country code, 2 letters representing the country of the bank. How to find someone's SWIFT code. If you are searching for a SWIFT code to send money to someone else, the simplest way to retrieve their SWIFT code is by using an online SWIFT BIC tool. Put in details such as the country, bank, and location, and then the online SWIFT code tool will identify the correct one for you. Do all U.S. banks have a SWIFT code? Whilst most banks have a BIC SWIFT code assigned to them, there are some financial institutions that do not use them. A number of smaller banks and credit unions in the United States do not connect to the SWIFT network, which means that they do not use international routing codes. Is SWIFT code same for all banks? This varies by bank. Some banks use the same SWIFT code for all their branches, while other banks designate a unique SWIFT code for each branch. If you are unsure of which code to use, you can typically use the bank's head office SWIFT code to send. What is the difference between SWIFT and IBAN? The main difference between an IBAN and SWIFT BIC code lies in what they're used to identify. A SWIFT code refers to a bank, while an IBAN will identify a specific bank account. Basically, a SWIFT number tells you where to pay, and an IBAN tells you who to pay. What do I put for SWIFT code? How is a SWIFT BIC code formatted? 1. Bank code, 4 letters. The first 4 letters represent the bank and usually look like an abbreviated version of the bank name. 2. Country code, 2 letters. Throw a location code, 2 letters or numbers. Or branch code, 3 digits. Do you need both SWIFT and IBAN? However, in many instances, a bank requires both an IBAN number and a SWIFT code to pinpoint a recipient's bank and specific bank account number. If the country of the recipient does not support IBAN, SWIFT codes are the only other option. What is the limit of SWIFT international transfer? You can make multiple transfers throughout the same day. $1.6 million per SWIFT transfer. Limits can vary depending on the currencies you send to and from and the payment method. You can transfer up to $500,000 or currency equivalent for online transfers only. What happens if my bank doesn't have a SWIFT code? Does every bank have a SWIFT code? No. Not all banks and financial institutions use SWIFT codes. If yours doesn't, ask what number should be used in its place for sending or receiving international money transfers. Does it matter if the SWIFT code is wrong? If you send an incorrect payment to a SWIFT code that does exist, the receiving bank should flag that they do not manage your recipient's account and reverse the payment. If you realize that you've used the wrong SWIFT code, you should contact your bank immediately and ask them to cancel the transaction. What if my bank does not have a SWIFT code? Many U.S. credit unions and small banks do not connect to the SWIFT network and do not have a SWIFT code. Instead, some of these institutions send and receive international transactions or wire transfers using other U.S. banks that serve as intermediaries to wire the money or other wire transfer services. Do you need SWIFT code and routing number? NACH, Automated Clearinghouse Routing Number, or ABA, American Bankers Association. Routing number is a 9-digit ID that's only used for domestic transfers in the U.S. If you're looking to send an international transfer to or from the U.S., you'll need the U.S. bank's routing number, as well as the SWIFT code. Why do banks need a SWIFT code? SWIFT codes, also known as BIC codes, ensure safe and speedy international payments through the SWIFT system. When making an overseas transaction, a SWIFT code is used to verify the identity of the banks or financial institutions. This safety measure helps ensure that funds are sent to the correct account.